Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, DuPage Nation. We are so excited to see you and greet you and welcome you to Rise and Thrive Week 1. It is early. The sun is shining. God is still good. And we are ready to stir up the gifts, as Pastor Miller said. We are kicking things off with Larry Love. He is going to help us to jumpstart our wellness and fitness program. We're going to give everyone a couple of seconds to get in, and then Reverend Lana is going to lead us in prayer, if you wouldn't mind. And then hopefully everyone came with their workout stuff. I've got my hoodie on. I didn't put on any makeup. My workout mat is over there. Kamala and Joe are right behind. They're going to push a little bit with me. We're going to be ready to go. So what time is it? 9:05?
Yes.
We might be ready to jump into things, Reverend Lana, if you wouldn't mind bringing us to the throne.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Dear Lord, we thank you for this sunny day. It's cool a little bit, but that's okay. We understand that the seasons change and we must change with them. And so we ask that even as we gather here, that you would bless our presenter, that you would bless everyone that will participate, and that you will continue to keep us in the hollow part of your hand. We thank you for this time we share, and we place it in your hands and ask for your blessing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. So as I indicated, we are going to be starting with Larry Love. I'm going to provide you with a brief bio to not that I need to prove, but just to show you that he is well equipped and highly proficient in this area. And then we are going to go into some education and instruction from Larry Love. We've got a pre-recorded video that we're hoping that you'll work out along to, or at least take some mental notes to do later. And then we'll have a little more instruction afterwards, an opportunity for Q&A. Good?
We're good. Perfect.
All right. So Larry V. Love is the owner of Total Body Wellness and Performance, Inc., located in Westmont. He received his Bachelor of Science degree in Sports Medicine from Illinois State University and Master of Science degree in Health and Wellness Psychology from the University of the Rockies. Larry is both board certified and licensed through the governances of the Illinois and National Athletic Trainers Associations. Additionally, he's board certified through the clinical governance of the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Larry's mission of feeling as good as you look and looking as good as you feel aligns with his clinical experience as a sports medicine specialist, which takes a prevention to performance perspective. His practice particularly focuses on wellness behaviors of health, nutrition, conditioning, and recovery. As a sports medicine specialist, Larry has optimized the levels of many professional, youth, and recreational athletes for over 25 years, a little longer than I've been on this earth. Larry specializes in evaluation, prevention, treatment, and functional rehabilitation of all movement and athletic injuries. Larry's life philosophy for creating and maintaining a life of balance by addressing one's feelings, aesthetics, and performance challenges are what motivate him professionally. But personally, Larry's pride and joy are being a great husband and father to his family, and we are blessed to have him with us today. So, Love, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. This is going to be a great journey, and my whole purpose for not only doing this presentation is so you all not only see multiple sides of wellness, but I want you to be able to own your wellness, and that's really key. And so as we start off, one of the things that I really want to impart upon you is I'm going to treat you like you're one of my clients or patients today, okay? And by doing that, it works well for me because it gives you an opportunity to see just how much power you have over your health, over your wellness, over any type of your fitness. And so the first thing we like to think about is how do we define our legacy? Most people define legacy with their health and their wellness and all of that. It's always, okay, I'm leaving my legacy. What I like to think of for you all is to say, hey, how am I currently living my legacy? What's my expectancy of what I can do today? And that really hinges on how healthy you are, how mentally healthy you are, but also what are you showing the people you're responsible for? So I always say this right here. If you're responsible for anybody, that's great, but you first have to be responsible for yourself. I want you all to be around a long time for yourself, for your families, and then be able to enjoy, a quality lifestyle. So if that sounds like a plan, you guys ready to get going? All right, perfect. So one of the things that we want to kind of keep in mind is everything with health, wellness, and fitness is based on behavior. Most people will always say, hey, you know what? When should I start a exercise program? When should I start a wellness plan? And I always say there's never a great time to do it, but if you don't do it, it's not good at all. So the first behavior is this right here, knowing that you need to get started. That's the first thing right there, okay? The second thing is this right here. If you're gonna get started, what's going to be your support system? What I find is that many people who are on any type of programs, if they don't have a support system, meaning somebody that's gonna hold them accountable, somebody that's going to create a plan for them, which you will see the video later, and also someone to just do the checks and balances with a professional and credentialed perspective. So that's really important. Some of the other things when it comes to behavior is just strictly planning. Most people, they know they need to exercise, they know they need to be well, but how do you fit that into your day? And instead of fitting it in at the end or the beginning, my big thing is making sure you schedule that time specifically for you. It doesn't matter if it's in the morning, doesn't matter if it's in the evening, but it matters that you do it. And most people find compromises when they're trying to create any type of time for their planning, because they always put work first and then they say, okay, I'm going to do this later. Now, a great challenge for everyone is like home exercise, right? So people may have a treadmill, people may have some dumbbells, people may even have, machines in their basements or whatever. The trick with that is you're always like, hey, I can do that later. I can do that later. I can do that later. And a lot of times later turns into tomorrow, later turns into next week, and then later turns into a coat rack, a clothes rack. So your clothes are hanging over the pieces of exercise equipment. And so today I'm trying to prevent you from falling into that trap. And so we're going to get started with some important metrics and measurements that I think will resonate with you as to why to get motivated and to kind of get going a little bit. So on this current screen here, I see the Wellness and Fitness Jumpstart. Is there any way we can get the pictures of the people up at all? So one of the things that we want to first start off with is defining what our body mass index is. And then we're going to talk about what our body fat percentages should be. And then we want to also talk about what is our ideal body weight in conjunction with how many calories we should be consuming per day. So I'm going to kind of go in a reverse a little bit. So people are always asking me, okay, what should I eat? What shouldn't I eat? And one of the things I always tell them, I said, well, how much do you want to weigh? And within being realistic, right? So a really easy way to determine how many calories you should consume, okay, based on what you want to weigh, is to add a 0 to the end of it. So say for instance, you're, like in my case, I'm 230, all right? I need 2,300 calories by adding a 0 to the 230. I need 2,300 calories to maintain being 230. If I say, hey, I want to get down to hypothetically 210 pounds, that means I would have to have 2,100 calories. It's as simple as that right there. you know, I'm really big on simplifying, you know, how to keep and introduce wellness into your life. You know, there's a lot of gimmicks out there. We want to just keep it really simple. Listen, if you feel that you are overweight, an indicator that may kind of test that a little bit is what we call your BMI. That's your body mass index. Anything over 26 is considered kind of getting into an adverse range. Anything over 30 is considered being obese. So you're probably wondering, well, Larry, how do I calculate all this stuff, right? I got something good for you, okay? It's real simple. I want you to go to calculator.net, calculator.net, okay? And I want you to do it now. So if you have a cell phone, you can just go on calculator.net, and you're gonna go under health and fitness. It's going to have you just plug in a couple metrics for your BMI. It'll have you plug in metrics for your body fat, your ideal caloric intake. If you happen to be pregnant, it'll show you how to calculate your due date, all that stuff. However, that's a great resource. That's a great reference. And that really allows you to kind of get some baselines. Now, another baseline that I use quite frequently is just simply a waist and hip measurement. So, and we're gonna go kind of general here, but anything over 40 for a male, okay? Anything over 40 for a male, okay, is considered obese, okay? With a belly button measurement. Anything for a female, don't get mad at me, anything over 36 is considered out of range, all right? So our metrics and our parameters, we want to try to reduce those inches around the waist, and we're going to talk about some protocols to do that. And then lastly, you know, the kind of the grand scheme of things that people are most used to are stepping on a scale, right? So they weigh themselves. Now, I'm not a big weight guy because my whole thing is you can have two people that weigh the same amount and have different percentages of body fat. And so what we really want to focus on is decreasing our body fat. And for an average body fat for a female within range should be between 20 and 24%. Okay, for a male, average body fat should be between 18 and 22%. Those are parameters that are going to give you what we call your aesthetic look. It's going to show some muscle tone. It's going to also show just a little striation in the muscles. So basically, you know, kind of, you know, going over your physique. So is everyone still with me? We pretty clear on everything? Good. All right. So now that we have some of the clinical measures out of the way, let's talk about just getting started, right? So that's what you're here for. Most of the people I see, they either come to me for three things. One is always, I want to lose weight, okay? The other one is, I want to look better. And then the last one, but I think the most important one is, I want to feel better. And so how you're feeling is really going to really hinge upon how motivated you are to do a lot of those things. So, you know, it's kind of like an inverse relationship, a reciprocal relationship. So what I want you all to do today is on a scale of 1 to 3, okay? 1 being, you know what, I'm feeling great. 2 being, I feel okay. 3 being, I feel like, you know, I'm just not at my best. Once you identify how you're feeling, that really will give you a better idea of how much physical work you should be including into your health and wellness program. Because a lot of times, resistance training and exercise is another stress on the body. So we have to balance that out appropriately as to how much we're actually including. If you're kind of, you know, lagging and, you know, how you're feeling, maybe you're having some doldrums a little bit, maybe intense exercise is not for you right away. We want to do maybe a little bit lighter exercise, such as walking, you know, maybe just, you know, some light biking, some meditation. So those are great ways to, you know, kind of counteract, you know, how you're feeling. You know, if you're really, you know, on a high, that's an excellent time to really, you know, include resistance training, things that are high intensity, things that are going to get your heart rate up, things that are also going to kind of push you to that level that you can adapt to. So all that makes sense so far? Great. All right. So let's talk about this right here. Okay. So say today's Saturday, you're coming in to see me for an evaluation. You know, I'm going to ask you about 5 important questions. How much sleep are you getting? Okay. When's the last time you had a planned, credentialed protocol program? 3 is, I want to see what your eating patterns look like, meaning, you know, how many calories you're consuming a day. Do you eat more at the beginning of the day? Are there trends that are sticking out? You know, do you go long gaps without eating? You know, those are like red flags right there. I'm going to ask you, do you have any pre-existing conditions, or do you have a chronic disease condition such as diabetes, high blood pressure? And again, you know, one of the things that I think we kind of take for granted a little bit is, you know, what's your mental health capacity? That mental health capacity and being involved in any type of exercise and movement, that's really important to know. And then the last thing is, you know, I look people in the eye when I ask them this question, and I don't allow them to look away. I said, how motivated are you to committing to changing your life today? And, you know, some people are just not ready, and that's okay. And they're not ready because a lot of times mentally we have this crutch on, if we feel a certain way, that allows us to kind of skate through a little bit. Change can be different for everyone. Change can be challenging. Change, if you don't have a support system, can also be scary. So, you know, we want to really try to get everybody on the same page and you know, ask them those questions. After that, the evaluation now is hinging upon, okay, you know, we go over the metrics of cardiovascular, making sure you're in a heart rate range where you can maintain about 60 to 85% of raising your heart rate, whether that's walking on a treadmill, whether that's jumping rope, whether that's doing any type of bicycling at a high rate. The next thing we do is we want to go ahead and check what your flexibility and muscle movement is. Do you have any restrictions? Do you have for most women, you guys are going to have very, very loose hamstrings in the back of your legs. That's the muscles in the back of your legs. Most guys are going to have very tight hamstrings in the back of their legs. So we want to make sure you don't have any movement compromising. Also, we want to see if you have any muscle imbalances. So we need to test your strength. And then third, we want to see your core. Everybody wants that nice slim midsection, right? But there's a lot of people that got flat midsections but have a weak core. So we want to see what your front to back core strength is. Also, we want to see what your balance is. You know, balance is a really key factor as we age. And so balance, you know, if you have bad balance, it could be an inner ear problem. So we want to identify that. And then last, we just want to go ahead and see what your capacity is to handle multiple days of exercise. So we do have a video. I want to go ahead and cue that up, and that's going to kind of give you a demonstration of what you should be doing. And I believe it turns out to be about 13 minutes of total video. So we want to go ahead after the video, dive in, do some Q&A. But just know with any type of exercise program, we want you to make sure you consult a physician, make sure you don't have any existing conditions that would prevent you from entering into an exercise program. 2, we always want you to stay hydrated. You know, kind of rule of thumb is half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh, just hypothetically, 150 pounds, obviously 75 ounces of water would be what you would need per day. Also, we want you to wear loose fitting athletic clothing, rubber soled shoes. And in this coronavirus era, we want you to, you know, maintain a clean and safe environment. Social distancing is really important, and have a good time. So watch this video and we'll go from there. And then afterwards, we'll have some Q&A. I hope that helps.
Real quick, before we get started, Larry and
Yes.
Charles, just want to let everyone know that each exercise will show a different movement variation. So if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, so you could theoretically use this as your 15-minute workout. So when the beginner exercise is shown, you can start your reps until the next exercise comes with the beginner formation. So you can absolutely get up. I'm getting up.
Yeah. So in addition to Sister Spencer, we formulated this video to meet all levels of fitness. And basically these exercises challenge the total body, but also if you're a beginner, it introduces introductory movements for a beginner to just get you going. And so that's what we're looking to do. No matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you have something to build up to. But sometimes, even if you're advanced, it's nice to do the beginning exercises because it just allows your body to move and get a stretch. And that's really what we want to do. So I'm hoping that you guys can follow along with the video, some of the demonstrations, you piece it together. Everybody's a little different. You know, if you're a beginner, you may want to just do these exercises, you know, and just take do the exercise, take a minute break in between each one of them. If you're kind of intermediate, you can do each exercise by taking a 30-second break in between. If you're advanced, you can go from exercise to exercise to exercise without a break in between. And that kind of gives you that advanced level. So it looks like my twin is on the screen. So we're going to get it going.
Getting your twin together. One moment. And
Okay.
We'll get started.
Yeah.
Welcome to DuPage AME's 41st. Happy Saturday to everyone, and welcome to DuPage AME's 41st anniversary Rise and Thrive Saturday, week 1. I'm Larry Love. I'm your wellness and performance coach, and we're just so happy and excited to be under the leadership of Pastor Miller and Reverend Lanham. And this segment is Jumpstarting Your Wellness with 15 minutes a day of exercise. Now, what does 15 minutes a day of exercise mean? That means doing it 2 to 3 days a week. And today, we're going to show you some total body exercise. We're going to show you some stretching. We're also going to show you some core work for a strong and healthy core and back, and some cardiovascular work for a strong heart. Later throughout these segments, you'll be able to ask me some Q&A, and we'll answer things on nutrition, how to get proper rest and recovery, some health tips, but also some overall lifestyle and wellness tips. So without any further ado, let's get it going. We're going to start off with our warm-up. Our warm-up is going to be using a broom handle. And so with our broom handle, we're going to work on pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. And you're going to do that for 15 repetitions. Then we're going to get into rotation. Okay, the rotation is going to be good for the hips and the low back, and also it's going to stretch out what we call your IT bands, which are on the sides of your legs. Next, we're just going to reach down and touch our toes, and we're going to do that 15 repetitions. Warm-up to be an active warm-up, and because you're using just body weight, we want it to be about 5 minutes. So just keep repeating those different exercises. So a chest press, okay, push and pull. Then we want you to rotate, and then we want you to reach down and touch your toes. Just keep repeating that 15 repetitions each individual discipline, and then we're going to move on to our first exercise. Now, with any exercise that we do, we understand there's a beginner version, there's an intermediate version, and then there's an advanced version. So for each exercise, we will show you those different disciplines. Also, all repetitions that are done with these exercises will be for 10 repetitions. If you're a beginner, you're going to start off with 10 repetitions, and that's one set. If you're intermediate, you're going to do 2 sets of 10 repetitions, and if you're advanced, you're going to do 3 to 4 sets of 10 repetitions. So our first exercise is going to be a total body exercise, which is called the squat to overhead press. We want you to choose a weight with your dumbbells that you can do 10 times. So we're gonna have our first demonstration with the squat to overhead press, and then we'll go from there. So for intermediate exercise, we're gonna have you squat, come up, and then curl your arms to your shoulders, okay? And you're gonna do that 10 times, okay? Squat to the shoulder.
1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Great.
8, 9, 10.
Now, because it's an intermediate version, she can go with a little heavier weight. Now we're gonna get to an advanced version, which is a lot more difficult, so we're gonna decrease the weight so she can accomplish the exercise efficiently. So we're gonna hand her these weights, and she's going to go into a squat to arm curl to overhead press. Here we go, begin. Squat, arm curl into a shoulder press, and we're gonna repeat that 10 times.
2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 1, 2, 3, 8, 1, 2, 3, 9,
Excellent.
1, 2, 3, 10.
Perfect. I'll take the weights. Now, if you are a beginner, you would utilize this movement of a squat to overhead press with no weights at all, and you would do it for 10 repetitions. So why don't you show us a version without any weights of a squat, arm curl, and press. And that's the intermediate, that's the beginner version. And because that makes you breathe. So we have 5 more repetitions.
2, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 1, 2, 3, 8,
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 9, 1, 2, 3, 10.
Excellent job. So there you have it, the squat to overhead press, the beginner version, the intermediate version, and the advanced version. Thank you so much. Our next exercise that we're going to demonstrate, something that's really important, is what we call a bent over row or back exercise. 50% of all injuries that people will incur will be in the upper and lower back. So having a strong back is so important. And so as we demonstrate the 3 versions of a beginner, intermediate, and advanced back exercise, it's important that you make sure you do these because it's going to create a strong core and a strong back. So we're going to bring in our next demonstrator, and we're going to just start off with our beginner version. Hands are going to be fully extended, okay, right out in front of you. Okay, arms are out in front of you, and you're just going to pull your arms back in a rowing motion. You're reaching forward and backwards. Now we're going to have you turn to the side. So you're going to reach out, okay, pull back and squeeze the shoulder blades. And now we're going to do 10 repetitions. You got a front and side view, so you're counting them out.
1,
Good.
2,
And pay attention to her shoulder blades.
3,
This is a great beginner exercise. It's great
4,
for posture as well.
5,
Excellent.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Perfect. So that's our beginner exercise for the back. Now, we're going to get to an intermediate exercise. So we're going to have her just slightly lean forward. Okay. Arms are hanging down in front of her. Okay. Heads up, nice flat back. And again, she's just going to pull her elbows back in a rowing motion. Slightly bend at the knees for me. Great. And now you're going to count them out. Here we go.
1,
Perfect.
2,
So she's working her upper
3,
and lower back with this exercise.
4,
Great.
5, 6, 7,
Awesome.
8,
Good. exercise. Now we're gonna add some weights for a little bit more of the advanced version. So she's gonna stay in that forward position, which is what we call a bent over row. And she's gonna repeat 10 repetitions. Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Very important to remember anytime you're doing exercises with resistance that you use the right tempo and the right rhythmic tempo, and she's doing a great job.
7,
We want you really squeezing at the shoulder blades.
8, 9, and 10.
Perfect. Thank you for that great demonstration of a beginner, intermediate, and also advanced back exercise. So our next exercise that we're going to do is going to work more on the heart rate, cardiovascular, or what we call our metabolic area in the body. It's getting the heart rate up. It's also working the total body, so it's called a burpee. We're going to show you 3 versions of this. We're going to show you a beginner, intermediate, and advanced exercise. So we're going to come in and have the demonstration. So if you're a beginner for cardiovascular increase, we're just going to have you start off by coming down, touching the toes, and standing up. And you're going to repeat that 10 times, and you're going to do that in a rapid fashion. Here we go. 1, good.
2,
And if you notice, he's bending the knees.
3,
Good.
4, 5, 6, 7,
Great.
8, 9, 10.
Perfect. So that's the beginning version. Now we're going to get a little bit more advanced with our intermediate version. So he's going to go down, touch the floor, kick his feet back, walk up, and then stand up. Here we go. That's 1. Here we go. Walk up. That's 2. Good. Walk up.
3,
Walk up.
4, 5.
Perfect. So that's our intermediate version. Now we're going to get to the full-blown advanced version of burpee, which really gets your heart rate up and really tests a lot of your strength of your whole body. Okay? So without any further ado, we're going to have them do a couple demonstrations of the burpee. Touch, kick back, kick up, reach towards the sky. Here we go. Touch down, kick back, come up, and reach.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Good job. He's keeping his core tight.
5,
He's also keeping his glute muscles tight as well.
6,
This is a great total body lengthening exercise. But
7,
also get your heart rate up to test your conditioning.
9,
Good.
10.
Perfect. Great job of the burpee in the beginner, intermediate, and advanced version. Excellent. Now, one of the key parts of the body to focus on is not just strengthening, but we're going to focus on our core. Everything revolves around our core. Our core really starts at the bottom of our chest and all the way to the middle of our thighs. And so your core is not just in your front, it's on your sides and also the posterior and the back. So we're going to start off with a beginning exercise. We're going to bring the mat out, and then we're going to show some different versions.
Hi there. Did it end a little prematurely?
We're going to have
No, it's still going.
participant.
Oh, I don't see it on my
We're
end.
going to have him just start with his hands and knees. Okay? Start on his hands and knees. And if you could just move up a little bit. Okay? Perfect. And so right here, you're on your hands and knees, and you're just squeezing your stomach into your back and holding it. Okay? And you're going to hold it for 5 seconds and then release. And you're going to repeat that 10 times. The intermediate version is now he's going to lift his knees off the mat. Okay? We want a nice flat back, engaging the core stomach muscles. He's holding it for 5 seconds, then releasing, 5 seconds, releasing again. He's going to repeat that 10 times. And now we want to get to the advanced version where you're in this position and you're lifting up the hips, holding, and then coming down to neutral position, up again. And we're going to have him do 10 repetitions of those, beginning now. Here we go. Count them out. 1. Good. 2. You got it. Good. 3. Good. 4. 5, it's keeping the core engaged, it's keeping his glute muscles contracted, and this is a great strengthening exercise.
8.
Great. 9, and he has a neutral spine and relax. Okay, thank you for that demonstration. Good. And so one of the things we really want you to understand is that everybody has a different health and fitness level, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, whether you're advanced. These are some exercises you can do, and if you do these 2 to 3 days a week, you will be great. So our goal here at Total Body Wellness and Performance is for you to feel good, look great, and perform well. Again, I'm Larry Love, your wellness and performance coach. Until next time, I look forward to answering your questions and delivering great health and wellness.
Awesome. It's got a little sweat on their brow.
Everybody's sweating. Everybody got the sweat off. So that's just a preview, and we use those exercises because those are the 4 that's going to really address weight loss, fat loss, toning the body, but also just making you feel good. Those are the 4 exercises that I really want people to either start on or build up to, and then we create variations of that. But that's a great way to get started. I know we're time crunched a little bit, but I do want to have time for some Q&A. Sister Spencer, we got time for that?
Yeah, we expect it to be about 4 or 5 minutes over, so we're okay. So if anyone had some questions, feel free to use the raise your hand function or just shout it out. I've got about 5 questions that were submitted ahead of time that I can pose if there's none on the floor. But at this time, please take advantage of Mr. Love. Ask your fitness questions now.
And before we ask questions, I'm just going to take about 30 seconds to say this. Again, those exercises, they take care of your cardiovascular, okay? They take care of your muscle toning. They take care of strengthening your core, but also an overall comprehensive wellness program. When we get to nutrition, I'm not so worried about what you're eating right now, but when you're eating what you're eating. So keep a food log, and then obviously, you know, everybody has a different food log. So to examine that, you know, obviously I would like for you to see me and I can kind of go over that. And then lastly, we need to talk about recovery just real quick. Generally, after you finish an exercise program, you want to recover with some type of fuel, whether it's a protein shake, whether it's something very light. You do want to avoid getting any like carbs in you right away, because we don't want to spike our blood sugar level. So that's why having like a protein shake is really advantageous. And then just make sure you're getting some rest and recovery. If you're not sleeping well, chances are you're not getting enough hydration. Vitamin D and B12 are really important for that. So without any further ado, I'll go ahead and answer the questions.
Sounds good. Cerise, if you can keep an eye on the chat and any hands that are raised. Until then, I'll post the ones that came in before. Larry, there's a question. You've already addressed stretching before. They asked if you should stretch after the workout.
So there's no research that says stretching before or after makes a difference. But what does make a difference is if you just stretch. So before or after is fine. Now, if you want to do it after, that's probably a little bit more advantageous to recovery. But again, research indicates it doesn't matter if it's before or after, as long as you do it.
Good to know. Cerise, anything on the floor before I keep going?
No.
Okay. Larry's question, what's better, using as much weight as I can stand with a few reps or less weight with a lot of reps?
So that's a great question. A lot of reps is always going to get the heart rate going a little bit. It's also going to be more advantageous towards injury prevention. And a lot of times, a lot of reps allows you to, it's a little bit more forgiving. less reps, you're gonna put on more mass. And sometimes the more reps we do, that kind of loosens us up to accomplish the movement patterns we're trying to do with the exercise. So 10 or more reps are always great, but if you're going too many reps and the weight's too light, you're really not getting anything out of it. So pick a range that you can do between 10 and 15 repetitions with your weight, and that'll be perfect for you.
Good stuff. Next question, how do I minimize the soreness that comes after exercise?
Great question, and that's what we talk about with recovery. That hinges a lot on hydration, but the other thing, you know, one of the more older school versions that are still around is Epsom salt. Epsom salt has magnesium in it. Magnesium pulls the lactic acid out of your muscles, and the lactic acid is a buildup from overloading the muscle, which makes you sore. So if you can do an Epsom salts bath or an Epsom salt scrub, you take the Epsom salt and make a paste out of it with water, and then you kind of scrub it on the sore area. Obviously, stretching is another way for recovery. So I hope that helps. And massage is never bad if it's, you know, too much of a, if you're hurting too much. So, yeah.
Shanice, we have one question in the chat now.
Okay, go ahead.
Larry, the question is, what should I eat prior to workout?
I think that's a great question. Obviously, we want something to be light, but we also want it to be a combination of something that has a protein and something that has a carbohydrate. So a great pre-workout meal or snack, if you're not allergic to anything, would be simply a peanut butter and honey sandwich. Okay, so you get the protein from the peanut butter, or you can use almond butter. You have the honey, which is going to kind of, you know, be a great carb to get your glycemic index up. That's your blood sugar. And the bread is a carb. However, carbs are not bad for us. When we don't burn carbs, that's when it's bad for us. So that's a great one. If you want to pop some nuts in a yogurt, you know, nuts combined with yogurt and fruit, you know, a small serving, obviously, that's a great start. And then if you just want to go old school, you can also just have a protein shake before your workout. I hope that helps.
Awesome, thank you. Last question, are there any natural supplements that can enhance my workout or give me more endurance?
Yeah, so when we talk about natural supplements, I'm going to kind of err on the side of caution. However, supplements are necessary, but the natural supplements that most people need are what we call branch chain amino acids. Branch chain amino acids help enter our system. They allow for better oxygen exchange. They also are better for muscle recovery after a workout. Again, I mentioned earlier, B12, vitamin D, those are really key. And then, you know, just a protein powder. If you don't like whey protein, you can do a vegan protein. Those are the basics right there that you need. And if you have those in your rotation of supplements, you know, you'll be fine. Should you want more information on other natural supplements, I would really encourage you to call me, because everybody's body is different. There's a lot of different equations that go into what supplements someone should be taking. So, but those are the general supplements that that I do recommend.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Larry Loves. Amazing information. You certainly blessed us this morning. It was worth getting up early this morning for sure.
Yes, yes.
So engineer, sir, Mr. Baker, if you could pop, if you've got it available, Larry's slide up there that's got his contact information, please reach out to Larry for your consultation and get your wellness program jump started. We are just a couple of minutes behind because that was chock full of valuable information. Give us about 5 minutes. Go grab your resumes, take a quick break, grab something to eat or drink, and meet us back here for the resume revamp with Deitra Tribble.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Charles, for reading my mind.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, we just did our last ready question mark message in private chat. All right, Cerise, handing it off to you.
Thank you, Shanice. Our next speaker is going to be Deitra Tribble, and she's talking about revamping your resume. Deitra Tribble was born in Chicago, Illinois, and was raised in the western suburbs. She's a graduate of DePaul University, where she earned her BA in liberal arts, and a graduate of the University of Phoenix, where she earned her MBA. She's the wife of John Tribble, and they have 4 sons, 3 grandkids, and a precious godson. She has a strong love of her family and friends and believes that everyone should be treated with dignity and respect. She has been a member of the DuPage family for 15 years and loves her pastor, Reverend Lana, and the DuPage family tremendously. She's been in the resume industry for over 20 years and has built a business off of her passion, helping others. Please get ready for our next Rise and Thrive presenter, Deitra Tribble.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Good morning.
Okay. Before I get started, I want to say thank you to Reverend Miller and Pastor Miller and Reverend Lana for their ongoing leadership, love, and support. Thank you for supporting this committee, and we appreciate everything that you do for us. Shanice, thank you for your vision. You are amazing. Committee members, thank you. You guys have been outstanding. And to everyone behind the scenes, Charles Baker and everyone that's doing what they do, thank you for your time and talents. We do appreciate it. So good morning to everyone. Thank you for attending this first week of the Rise and Thrive presentation. It is my prayer that you get answers to any questions that you may have and you walk away with more knowledge about the resume process. We can go to the next screen. So as it was just mentioned, I have been in the resume business for over 20 years. I have enjoyed the journey. I kind of just tripped up in doing this. I had a cousin years ago who wanted me to help her with her resume. And from there, it was the next person, my sister and her friend. So I end up just doing this and I really enjoy it. From that, it was more of trying to help people better understand their journey, their career journey. Pushing up to 2020 with COVID-19 and the whole industry and people, losing their jobs, getting laid off, getting furloughed. I had a really good conversation with my mentor, and from that conversation, I developed We Customize Resumes, the Resume Experts. Our job is to help you get your foot in the door to get a new opportunity for your career opportunity. So the agenda for this morning, really quick, is the icebreaker. I will identify what we do at We Customize Resumes. We'll talk about the components of a professional resume. I'll show you a before and after review of a resume. We'll discuss the common questions that people ask regarding their resume, and we'll touch on some job search tips, and of course, set up a free consultation with me, and any questions that you may have will be after. So get your pens and papers ready. While I go through the presentation, I want you to jot down your questions, so come Q&A time, we'll be able to answer those quickly. So the first icebreaker is, I want you guys to think about 3 top components that should be on your resume. And your name is not one of those components. I'll give you 1 more minute. Couple seconds, I should say. All right. The top 3 things that should be on your resume is your email address. You should have an email address that is professional. You don't want an email address that is, questionable. You want something that's your name and something like, just professional. I can't think of anything right now, of course. And then you want your phone number. You want to have 1 phone number on your resume. You don't want your cell phone number, your home office, and your home number and your office number on your cell phone. You want to have on your resume, you want to have 1 cell phone number on your resume, because you want to make sure that the potential employer has 1 number to choose from. You don't want them trying to identify, well, should I call this number? Should I call this number? You don't want that to happen. And then the other component is you need to have high-level information on your resume. The nuances of your job, the nuances of the role, the position, and all the daily things, those details will be discussed later on. You need to have a high-level information on your resume. So for me, those are the 3 top components that you should have on your resume. So what we do at We Customize Resumes, we revamp your resumes, we edit your resumes, and we also create resumes from scratch. We do cover letters, consultant letters, thank you letters, LinkedIn page profiles. We do blog, website updates, and then we also will connect you with a recruiter. Depending on what industry you go in, I have a circle of recruiters that I can connect you to. I've done that for some of my clients, and they have been successful in moving forward with gaining employment. So we do the best that we can, not only to assist you with your resume writing process, to help you with your resume writing process, but we also try and move forward with the next step and connecting you with a recruiter for you to gain employment. So there is a 5-step process in composing your resume. The first step is to create a standout summary. Second step, job description. That paragraph is huge. The third step is writing driven bullets, accomplish-driven bullets that identify at a high level what you do in your role. And then you want to make sure that your resume is ATS optimized. And then for step 5, you want to make sure that your resume has a greater visibility. And we'll discuss all of these steps going forward. So step 1, you want to make sure that the information in your summary is you provide your credentials, your experience, and you show your personality in your summary. You want to make sure that your summary is, it solves problems that you've done within your career. It gives the employer a snapshot, if you will, of who you are and what you've done in your career. You don't want to provide too much information, and you don't want to provide less information. You want to provide just enough information so the reader, the potential employer, will be intrigued and they want to see more or hear from you. They want to have a conversation with you after they review your resume. So the summary starts that process. So let's talk about the 4 main summary components. The first one is the title. The title it can be your job description, the job title that you're going for. And in this case, I have a senior project manager and a scrum master. This is the title of the position that you're going for. The other next step is the skills, your skills or your tagline, if you will. List what your strengths are right here. And in this case, the software development, agile, and a trainer. And only list 3 to 4 in this section right here. In your standout paragraph, you want to make sure that you have at least 2 to 5 sentences that go into greater detail about what you do and how you do it and how you can solve the company's greatest problems. And you can see here in the print that I started off with an adjective. You want to make sure that you capture the reader's attention by showing them, this is what I do, this is what I've done, this is how I achieved it, and this was the outcome. And that's what your paragraph needs to compose. It needs to have those details in it. And then your core competency. You want to use words from the job description. We call those keywords or keyword phrases from the job description that you can put down here under the key core competencies. And in this case, it's change management, agile coaching and mentoring, and training. So the next step in the job description is listing 1 to 2 sentences about, I'm sorry, let me go back. When you are listing your jobs, you have the name of the company, you have the position, your title, and then you have the time that you've been in this position. Underneath that is where you want to write 1 to 2 sentences of your responsibilities in that specific role. They need to be short, they need to be sweet, and they need to just be concise on what you are currently doing, what your goal is in that role. And in this case, it states right there, plain and simple, 2 sentences of what you achieve on a daily basis. The bullet points that you list. The bullet points that you list on your resume, they need to be strong, they need to be versatile, and they need to be have action points to them. As you can see here, it says the backbone of your resume. These bullet points tell the hiring managers what your greatest accomplishments are. And it is a formula that has been designed, and the bullet points need to have an action verb in it, a task, and a result. And this is one of the examples that I created. Increased by 30% during the year 2018 due to delivery of a quick service. That is giving an action verb, a task, and a result. And you also want to make sure, whenever possible, that you have quantifiable results in your bullet points. You want to make sure that if you can, you list data, any kind of measurements, any kind of dollar amount associated with your job descriptions, the bullets that you list, and any percentages. You want to make sure that you have all of those details because the hiring managers want to see those details. Step 4, this is the ATS process, which is the applicant tracking system. This is a new thing that companies are doing. They want to make sure that your resume and the information that you put in your resume is applicable to the job description that they have, that they are trying to fill. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure that you have a standout resume and that your resume will not be held up during this tracking, applicant tracking system process. So what you need to do is you need to pull the keywords and the keyword phrases from the job description as you write your resume. That's one way to make sure that your resume will not get held up by this tracking system. You want to make sure that it's a flowing. You don't just want to pop it in there. You want to make sure that the keywords that you use, the keyword phrases that you use make sense, and it's in alignment with the job description. You also want to make sure that you are talking the company's lingo. You want to make sure that you are using words that, again, match the job description. You want to make sure that you are using words that the company relates to. And for the example that I have listed, one company might use the word communicator, where another company might use the word communication. I said that backwards. Another example could be one company might use customer engagement, where another company might use customer success. So you want to make sure that you read the job description and you insert those key search words and those keyword phrases within your resume. I hope that makes sense. The 5th part of a resume is the formatting of the resume. We want to make sure that our resume is not held up with the ATS process. So to make sure that is not going to happen, we have to eliminate some things. We have to concern ourselves with the text that we put on our resumes, using tables and text boxes and columns and graphs. That is days gone by as far as using those kind of things on your resume, because again, the ATS process. I had a client recently that sent me her resume. She had her picture on her resume. While it's nice that you do that, that will not get your resume past the ATS process. So we want to eliminate those things. We want to eliminate, again, anything that will make our resume get held up at this ATS process. We want to make sure that our resume has information that is consistent, that is concise, and it's sophisticated, if you will. And we want to make sure that there's no fluff in it. Content is very important as you create your resumes. We want to make sure that the hiring managers and the professionals that are reading our resumes, they are looking to see in a chronological order where things are in our resume. So we don't want to have any fluff, anything in our resume that is hindering them from going to the resume and finding what they are looking for. We want to make sure that we have a second eye on our resume before we send it out to a potential employer. We want to make sure that we are covering all the bases from a grammar standpoint, from a font size standpoint, from a format standpoint. We want to make sure we cover all of those bases. We want to make sure it's flowing and it looks professional. So those are the things that I would highly recommend you do before you send out your resume. So right here is where I want to show you a before and after look of a resume. This is a resume that I received from a client. I'll pull up that first resume for me. Sure, there you go.
Should be sharing now.
Can you scroll down a little bit? This is not how I want it to look. So as you can see through this, oh my, oh. Okay, go back up, go back up, go back up, up. I'm sorry, go down. As you can see from the resume, it doesn't have some of the information that is required in a resume. There is no, Charles, you're going a little too fast. If you go back, not all the way to the top, but a little bit, up a little more, a little more. Okay, that's right there. He starts his resume off with, up a little more, Charles, I'm sorry. Okay, right there. He starts his resume off with the objective. Resumes have changed over the years, and objective is not what we put on resumes these days. What we put on resumes now is the summary. And the summary is what we talked about earlier. That's the paragraph that you want to have at least 4 to 5 sentences that speaks to you. It speaks to where you are, what you've done, and your strong points. And then under the summary, we want to have our, can you scroll down a little bit, Charles, for me? Okay, and under the summary, we want to have our core competencies. And as you can see, this resume is not laid out precisely correct. So you scroll down some more. So I just want you really just to take a good glance at how this resume is set up. You scroll down some more. Okay, keep going. Okay, and then you can pop into the after resume. So this is the resume that was it, Charles. There you go. So this is the resume that I constructed for my client. And as you can see, the summary is listed. It has 3 to 4 sentences in it that speaks to this specific client. The core competencies is listed. His professional experience is listed. You can see there's a sentence underneath his current role. And underneath that are the bullets. And these bullets are at a high level. It speaks to what he does on a daily basis. And it doesn't go into, again, the nuances of his job, of his role. It just gives a high level. You want to make sure that you provide a high level of what you do on a daily basis. If you scroll down. And then you want to, with this specific client, he wanted to show his the information that he does from a lab, his relevant lab work. So, you know, you can list those details. It's always good to have those kind of details on your resume, depending on your industry, I should say. And then you always want to list your education, your technical skills, and your skill set. So this is a quick glance at a before and after look of the resumes. So I want to just go over some of the common questions that people ask me about resumes. The first one is, should you have a cover letter? Cover letters are back on the scene now. You should have a cover letter. And that cover letter should be again, high-level review of your skills, your accomplishments, what drove you to this specific role that you're applying for. And you want to also give some details about the organization, you know, basically saying something like, I reviewed your website, I reviewed your mission statement, and based on that information, I think it aligns with my skills and my goals. And you go into those details as it relates to your cover letter, but you do need to have a cover letter for your resumes. From a pages standpoint, how many pages is acceptable for your resume? That is a tricky question, but I will say this. Most industries accept 2 pages, 3 at best. Some industries, depending on what industries you go in, you may have to have more detail in your resume. If you are in the IT industry, if you will, if you're in the medical field, you may be required to have additional information. Also, from an education standpoint, you may have to have more information in your resume, so you will be required to have more than 2 pages. But typically, a resume should be 2 pages, no more than 3. If you can really, really make it 2 pages, that would be good. Some information that should never be in your resume. You don't want to go into too much personal detail about yourself. Those details should be discussed in your interview, and I wouldn't go into too much details and personal details at that stage of the game either, but you just want to be mindful of what information that you include. I can't think off the top of my head, but you just want to be very professional with the information that's on your resume. As I said earlier, the email address that you list on your resume, you want to make sure that that is a professional email. If you have to create another email that is professional, please do so. But again, it needs to be a relevant professional email. Should you list your references on your email, on your resume? No, I would not include references on my email, on my resume, excuse me. I would only provide those details when they are required, when they're requested, but they should not be listed on your resume. Should you have the year of your graduation on your resume? It depends. If you are coming out of college, if you are, Yes, if you are coming out of college, I should say. Yes, if you are not a seasoned individual. If you are a seasoned individual, I would not list the year I graduated. I would list just the college and your degree. How often should you update your resume? Your resume should be, it's a lot of feedback, you guys. Can you mute your phones, please? Thank you. I was at should you update your resume to suit the job description? Absolutely. You should definitely take key search words from the job description and apply those to your resume. That is important. That will get you past the ATS process. So please make sure you grab key search words and key search phrases from the job description and apply those into your resume. How far back should you go from employment standpoint on your resume? 10 years is enough information that you need to put on your resume. That's pretty much, as far back as you need to go is 10 years. And that last question was from a college student standpoint. What information should college students put on their resumes? They should really put their college journey on their resume, what classes they took, what their goals are, what kind of industry they want to move forward into. Those are the kind of things that a college student should have on their resume. So I do want to provide you some quick tips about your job search. If you have your resume ready and you're ready to, start moving forward with looking for a new opportunity, I would encourage you, if you don't have a LinkedIn page, to create one and then start connecting with people on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the go-to place now where professionals go and potential employers go to find individuals. So I would encourage you to create a LinkedIn page. I would encourage you to connect with anybody that you can. If you want to connect with people that's in your industry, I would do that. But I would say connect with as many people as possible, because you never know who can connect you to your next opportunity. You may not know the person that can connect you to your next opportunity. So leave no stone unturned as it relates to connecting on LinkedIn. You also want to make sure that you scrub your social media platforms. You want to eliminate anything that's unprofessional, anything that would make a potential employer look at you and question. You don't want them to pause when they look at your social media platforms. And they do look at your social media platforms. Please know that. So that is a key thing to know. And then you want to start your network process. You want to network with friends and family. You want to network with former coworkers, especially if they are not at the same company that you guys met at and you still are in contact with them. You want to make sure that you connect with them. Former teachers, you want to make sure that you connect with anyone that you can that will open a door for you, that will get you a name of a hiring manager or a manager, or just any details that they can provide you about a position that's available or open in their organization. And resume 101, the main thing. Recruiters and hiring managers have on an average 6 to 7 seconds on reviewing your resume. You must make your resume stand out. It's very important that you provide content in a specific legible format, and that is professional information on your resume. So if you are interested in having your resume reviewed, if you are interested in having your resume rewritten or LinkedIn page, please go onto the link below and connect with me, and I will have a free consultation with you, and we can go over your resume. We can go over your goals, your objectives. We want to talk about where you want to go in your career, where you are, and we can get you started on looking for your next opportunity. So I want to take this last moments of the time to answer any questions that anyone may have regarding your resume, the resume process, any questions that you have from a recruiting standpoint. So we're open.
Deitra, I'll watch the chat, and then Cerise, I think, had some that came in ahead of time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I have two that came in. The first one was, how long does it take to revamp a resume?
Well, it will take, I have a 48-hour turnaround. So once I meet with my client and we go over the details of their career objectives, where they are, where they want to go, I then review their resume, and then I will turn it around in 48 hours. And at that 48-hour time, we go into edit rounds. I will provide the customer with the first draft, then we go into edit rounds. So that's giving the customer, my client, the first review of my work. And then they provide me with their feedback, and then we go into edit rounds until they're approved. They're 100% satisfied with their resume.
Thank you. And then the next question we had was, with the ATS database, is people wanted to know, was this based on the job that you're applying for? And then someone else wanted to know also, what jobs are you seeing on the increase due to everything taking place with COVID-19? Like, is there an industry that you're seeing a lot of openings available in?
So let me answer the first part. What was the first part of your question again? One more time, I'm sorry.
About the ATS database.
Okay.
And how, because I know that's something new, so a lot of people I don't think know a lot about that and what the keywords would be used for a particular industry. So are there certain like key phrases that would be used in a particular industry?
So again, it depends on the job description. The job description, it shows what the potential client is looking for. And you will pull things like, let's just say it's a project manager role, and they want the project manager to have specific, let me see, a specific, let me think, I just drew a blank, I'm so sorry. Specific details as far as the things that they've done in their role. So from a project manager, if you have a PMP certification, you know the methodologies of project management. You would pull anything from that job description that has that, and you have those qualifications, and you would put those details in your resume. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and the ATS process is a relatively new, I shouldn't say it's relatively new. They've been doing it that process has been going on for a while. We, from an employee standpoint, we are new to this. And I think because of COVID-19, and there is a vast majority of individuals within the job market searching for jobs, we are now being aware of this process. And it's been, again, it's been out there. We just are aware of it now because so many people are applying for jobs. The employers don't have the headcount, the resources, if you will, to go through all of the resumes that they are consuming on a daily basis. There's so many resumes that are being sent to the employer. So they had to find a way, from what I'm told, on how to eliminate resumes that don't fit their job descriptions. So this is what they've done. They purchased this software, and this is the process that they are taking. And if your resume is not ATS compliant, you will not even be aware of that. I should have said that earlier. You will not be aware of that. You won't be aware of it. They're not going to send you an email. Their hiring managers are not, reaching out. They won't contact you at all. Your resume goes into this big hole, if you will. So again, another reason why you want to have those key search words and those key search phrases in the job descriptions. From an industry standpoint, I think all of the industries at this point are looking for resources. There's not one more over the other. I think because everyone did not have a plan via the COVID-19, everyone just, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of the companies didn't have a plan. So they moved quickly with furloughing people and then laying off. So now I think because they're more comfortable with the process of wearing masks and social distancing, they're now ready to hire back. But I don't see one more industry over the other that is hiring, if that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you so much, Deitra. And if you'd like your resume revamped, please reach out to Deitra Tribble. And we are going to move on to our next session in 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Deitra, for keeping us on track with just being 5 minutes over. We will have our baking demonstration by the head chef at Sugar Girls Bakery, Chef Peyton Miller. She's going to walk us through the banana bread recipe. So you've got a few minutes to go ahead and grab your ingredients, start measuring, and we'll meet you in the kitchen.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Oh, wait, sorry. There we go. Okay. Where's the ingredient list?
Oh, I thought it was on, let's see.
And I don't know if it's because I'm signed in on my iPad, like why I can't see all the extra stuff.
Yeah, that's weird, Nicole. I'm not sure what's going on. You got it? Okay, good.
Yeah, because like I couldn't see that video. Okay, I can see this now. Okay, great. I'll grab everything. Thank you, dear.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I also need to grab my charger. Otherwise I won't be seeing anything. Baking soda.
Hey, Chef Peyton, you ready to get started?
Yes, I am.
Yay, I'm so excited. I'm super excited to start this off. All right, let me go back and forth between my kitchen and my table. Okay, you guys, we are so excited for the next segment of Bakin with Peyton. We are ready to get our kitchen smelling beautifully with some homemade banana bread. So let me give you a little background about our leader for this segment. Peyton Miller is a 13-year-old freshman at Plainfield East High School. She is interested in math and science. Her favorite sport is volleyball. She started baking at a really young age at her grandparents' house. She's always been around family members that bake or cook in some way. Her love of baking has been a passion and started for real, she says, about 2 years ago. It's time where she can spend time with herself, she can explore new things and create awesome ideas. If you don't know the origin of the name Sugar Girls Bakery, when she and her sister Taylor were younger, her grandmother used to call them her Sugar Girls, and so she stuck with the name. One of her life goals is to become an anesthesiologist or a sports medicine nutrition doctor. So maybe she can team up with Larry Love. She also wants to have a storefront for her business along with her Aunt Ashley, who has helped to teach her along the way. And her one tip for us is to have fun and to bake the world a better place. Peyton, we're excited to get started. We're turning it over to you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. So I hope you guys are really excited to have your kitchen smelling really good and are ready to start baking. So the first step on our recipe is to preheat the oven, which I have already done. So right now I would advise you to go ahead and preheat your oven to 325 degrees. And while you are doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get stuff ready so I can show you guys how to prepare your pans. So first we're gonna grab I have just a glass loaf pan right here. We're gonna grab some parchment paper. It doesn't have to be a really big piece because we are gonna trim it up. And so we're gonna go ahead and spray our pan here. We're spraying that with some cooking spray. And we're going to kind of measure our pan because we wanna be able to lift our banana bread out of the pan super easily when it comes out of the oven. So I'm just gonna trim up this parchment paper here. It does not have to be super hard. You just wanna get it so that the ends are longer so you can just flip it right out. And we're just gonna cut this side as well. And so here we have it. It looks pretty good to me. So now I'm gonna just touch it in here. And we're gonna just press the parchment against there. So here, let's see if you guys can see it. There you go. And we're just making sure it sticks. And then we're gonna set this right to the side. And that'll be ready for when we come back. So now I'm gonna have a medium-sized bowl, and we're gonna take our bananas here. So with your bananas, for banana bread, you want them to be pretty like brown and ready, like really ripened. As you can see, these bananas are pretty brown and ready. So I've had them in the pantry all week, browning and getting them really ripened. And so we're gonna go ahead and peel these bananas here. One thing I like to do when I bake is just have like a plate or some paper towels for any garbage, so that at the end it's not all over the counter, and all you have to do is just pick it up, throw it away, and that's it. See here, I'm gonna just peel these bananas here. I'm gonna peel, you should have 3 bananas. Let's see here. And they're totally fine if they're brown and mushy, because that's the stuff we want to see. We want to make sure it's nice and ripe. And that will also, the moisture from the bananas will also help when it's in the oven, and it will make your banana bread super moist when it comes out. So here are my bananas here. And I just like to take a fork, and I'm just going to mash them super lightly, but we want to make sure that there are still some clumps in here. So we're just gonna press them and make sure you still have some lumps. Let's see. I will definitely show you guys how it looks in just a second here. I'm just gonna keep it mashing. We don't want it to be super liquidy, because if it's liquidy, then it will throw the consistency off. We do want to have those clumps, because as it's in the oven, it'll kind of loosen up and disintegrate into smaller pieces. So here's that one, my last banana here. Go ahead and mash that up for you guys. Okay, so here's this. I'll bring this closer. As you guys can see, there's still a lot of clumps in there, but we're gonna go ahead and add buttermilk and vanilla. So a tip I have for you guys with buttermilk, not something you normally have in the refrigerator all the time, which I totally understand. If you don't have buttermilk, you can always have, if you have regular milk, almond milk, just add like a tablespoon of vinegar to a cup of milk, or a tablespoon of lemon juice, and there you have buttermilk. Leave it to sit for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and you're good to go, and that's it. There have always been times when I'm like, oh, this recipe has buttermilk, but we don't have it, and I have all the rest of the ingredients at home. Well, I just took a cup of milk that we had in the refrigerator, added some vinegar to it, let it sit, and I was good to go. So right here, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of buttermilk into our banana mixture. And then we're gonna add a tablespoon or teaspoon, sorry, of vanilla. So we're gonna open this vanilla here. This is all going into the banana mixture. There we go. And then we're gonna just mix this together. We're gonna mix this together here with just a rubber spatula or a spoon. Just make sure you mix it very lightly. As again, we don't want the bananas to get too liquidy. So we're just gonna lightly mix that together, and we're gonna set this to the side. Now, in the bigger bowl that you should have here, it's a little bit bigger, we're gonna go ahead and add our egg mixture in. So you should have 1 egg, so we're gonna crack this here. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead and put this in. This is supposed to be super easy. If you have bananas at home, like, just make it. You end up liking the recipe. Something you should like, if you have some bananas, you want to throw them away, just use this to make some banana bread. It should be really good, especially if they're really ripe at the time. Also into this egg mixture, I'm going to take a cup and 1/8 of sugar. So here I have a cup. So we're going to just measure out some sugar here.
Peyton, I'm sorry I missed it. 1 cup of sugar?
A cup and 1/8. Or 1 1/8 cups. However you want to say it.
1 1/8. Oh.
Yeah, 1 1/8. You're going to put that right into the egg mixture. So this is a separate bowl. Your egg and your sugar should be in here. Actually, and then here. And then into your egg and sugar, you're going to go ahead and add some oil. Some vegetable oil. You're going to have a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Let's see here. And this is all into the egg and the sugar mixture. So just a 1/2 cup. Let's see here. And you're going to go ahead and mix that together. Yeah, and if you guys ever have questions, just shout them out or type them in the chat. We're going to take the same spoon or the same spatula from the banana mixture because in the end, it all will be mixed together and nothing really has to be like separate. You're just going to mix that sugar, egg, and oil until it's just combined and should be, the sugar should still have some crystals in it, and that's about it. So let's see here. Oh, butter versus vegetable oil. Okay. For me, I honestly have never tried using butter in this banana bread recipe. It really depends on what the food is. And a lot of just take like a box cake, for example. So a lot of times you have the box cake, or it could be brownies, cookies, whatever it is. You'll have the ingredients with butter, or you'll have the ingredients with oil. To me, oil just does a little bit better. I mean, everybody likes the taste of butter in food, but I personally just like using oil. I haven't really done things with oil and used butter instead. So if that's something that you would normally do, then I would say go for it and see what the end result is. I mean, that's what baking is for. There's always going to be some good things, there's going to be some bad things.
But Connie, just an additional service we're doing, that kind of takes a step out of it, makes it.
Oh, okay. Now in our next bowl, we're gonna mix together our flour mixture. So we're gonna go ahead and take, yes, this is just like a smaller bowl. We're gonna take 2 cups of flour. So we're gonna, and a lot of people there's always been the debate, is it okay to sift flour? Should we not sift flour? Sifting flour to me, it depends on what it is. It depends what it is. If it should have a lot of air, then maybe. I personally have not found a difference. I have tried recipes with flour sifted versus with flour not being sifted, and I haven't seen a big difference. Next, we're going to take some baking soda here. We're going to add 1 teaspoon. Let's see. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And people also say when you're baking, should you use cake flour, all-purpose flour? That's something I also have not tried. I have thought about it to try it, but like that's something that we have not always, that's not something my mom normally buys for us to have at home. So I've always just used all-purpose flour, but I'm not opposed to trying it. I mean, that's what I always say, try new things. If you like it, keep the recipe. If you don't like it, try to fix something. If you tried it with cake flour, try it with all-purpose flour. Everybody has different health things that they like to do versus using wheat flour, which you normally could use in breads, but it just depends. So now we're gonna go ahead and add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we're gonna just take it here. There we go. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I have a whisk here. Oh wait, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. That is one ingredient we cannot forget. 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. This is all in the flour mixture. Now, we're gonna just take a whisk here and just whisk our flour mixture together just to make sure it is all combined and everything is evened out. Make sure that cinnamon is well incorporated. Any questions or no? What'd you say?
They like the buttermilk.
Oh yeah. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and incorporate everything. So in our sugar, egg, oil mixture, we're gonna go ahead and add in our flour. One thing with flour, most people should know this, but it's just a tip that I would give you. Don't add it all in at one time. Obviously, a lot of people know that. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in 1/2 of my flour mixture. And I'm just gonna warn you now, it will be very thick until you add the bananas in, and it isn't just a thick mixture in general. But that is totally okay, that's how it's supposed to be. So we're gonna go ahead and add in this flour. And then once it's getting to be incorporated, we don't want it to be fully incorporated before we add in the rest of the flour. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in the other half here. We're gonna go ahead and add that in. And don't feel like it has to be completely mixed together before you add the bananas in. It totally is okay if there's still some flour left out, because it will be hard because it is very dry. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but the flour is definitely the ratio between egg and the wetness, or how do you say it? The wetness to the dry is definitely taking over. So it is like a little bit mixed here. So now we're gonna take our banana mixture and we're gonna add this in all at one time. We're just gonna have that right in. And we're gonna just keep incorporating until this is nice and mixed together. Now, for me, with this recipe anyways, I've done it so many different ways. You might have 3 bowls, you might have 2 bowls. It's just your preference, honestly. Like, it doesn't matter. It's all gonna get mixed together in the end. This is not a recipe where you actually have to follow every single step to the T, except for obviously to keep the wet and the dry mixtures separate. So I've made it in the past where I've had the banana mixture and the sugar mixture all in one bowl together. Has not made a difference to me. So if you don't want to do 3 bowls, you're totally welcome to just doing 2 or doing that, but I would definitely add in flour half at one time, mix half at another time. So now our banana mixture should be mixed together. And so this is what mine's looking like. There you go. And this is totally up to you. I did say I put on here 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts, but it's totally up to you. If you like walnuts, you don't like, it doesn't have to be a 1/2 cup. It's just to your preference. So we're gonna go ahead and just take a few in here. I'm gonna put some in the mixture. I didn't do too many. I just did, it's not really a 1/2 cup. It's just a few in here, just so that you still have that nutty crunch when you have your piece or slice of banana bread. So we mix that all together, and now we're gonna take our pre-lined pan. Because it has parchment, we do not need to spray it again. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and add this into our lined bowl. Here, press that against. We're just pouring this over. Make sure it's nice and even. If you want to add a layer of walnuts, sure, go for it. We are not a big nut family over here, so I just put a few in here. So we're just putting that nice and over here. And whether you guys did the banana bread today, tomorrow, next week, next month, just send in your picture. Tell me how it went. Give feedback if you liked it, if you found a new way to do it. Just always give your feedback. Let me know how it was. So now that all of the banana mixture is in there, we're gonna go ahead and just even it out here. Just make sure it's all nice and even. And we're gonna go ahead and put some nuts on top. So I just like to take a handful of nuts here. Also, this is to your preference, how many nuts you like on top. If you don't like nuts, I like the way it looks. So for me personally, I just kind of added like a nice even layer of nuts on here. So, a few more maybe. And depending on how you lay them out, just like know that when it comes out of the oven, some of them might be falling off, which is totally okay. Because they didn't, but we don't want to press them into the batter. We just want to lay them nice and on top. So here is our, can you lift the camera for me? And I'll give you guys the overhead shot of what it looks like. So there's our banana bread. We got some nice nuts on top, okay, good. And so we're gonna walk over to the oven and we're gonna put our banana bread in the middle rack. And I would say for maybe 30 minutes, then you'll want to flip and rotate your pan. So for the sake of time, I have already prepared one for you guys so we can see the finished product. We have had it warming in the oven. I'm gonna bring this over here. Now, when you guys take this out of the oven, oh wait, I said 30 minutes, rotate your pan, and then I would say for another 30 minutes. After that, go ahead and check it. Because this banana bread is nice and deep, I would use a chopstick or a longer stick depending on what you have at home, but I just personally would not use a toothpick because you can't get all the way to the bottom. So when it comes out of the oven, you can let it cool.
Have church. So constantly working.
We're gonna let it cool for like 10 or 15 minutes if you still want it to be warm when you eat it, or just leave it in the pan until it's completely cool, whatever, it's up to you. And you should have the little handles on the sides. You're just gonna simply pull out and that's it. Now we're gonna move our pan over here. We're gonna grab a bread knife. We're gonna peel our parchment paper off. And it should come right off. If you can see here, or here, not like it's completely even. That's like the pan marks, whatever you want to say. It should not be sticking to the parchment paper at all. So now we're gonna go ahead and take our nice bread knife here. We're going to just take a few slices. This is to your liking of how thick you want it, how you want to cut it. It's all up to you. And here we're going to take a few more. And when you guys complete your banana bread, take pictures, post them, tag us on your Instagram, whatever you guys want to do. Just reach out, let us know how it was. We're going to take 3 slices here. You want to do an overhead shot of how it is. And I can already feel it with my knife. It is very moist on the inside. So here, I'm going to bring this closer so you guys can see. Let's see. Oh, no, this way. Here, I'm going to just take a piece here. Look at that. really moist on the inside, and because it's been warming in the oven, it will be really good. Here, good. And so now I'm just gonna take a nice plate here. I'm taking a nice plate. And we're gonna just put a few slices on here. And now, after your kitchen has been smelling like banana bread, you'll be so excited to eat it after. I've been waiting all morning to eat it. And so we're just gonna put it on a plate. And I have some people waiting here. I've been waiting since yesterday to try it. But please let me know how it is. Let me know if you like the recipe. This is something super easy. I've tried so many different banana bread recipes, and the reason I like banana bread, I don't know about you, is because I love Starbucks's banana bread. And so I was like, okay, my banana bread has to be really moist like that. So I've tried so many different recipes, and this one just happens to work for me, but it's just always to your liking how you like nuts. If you don't like nuts, if you just like the banana mixture, it should smell really good. And so I want to thank you guys for all tuning in to Baking with Peyton, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Thank you.
Yay! That was excellent, Peyton. So much fun.
Awesome.
Ours is in the oven, 26 minutes until we have to rotate our pan. So excited. Okay, so you guys, and Peyton is a good steward of time. She's made up some time and then more. So we've got time to put some questions in the chat. We're so excited to see the dialogue that's going on in the chat. It was so much fun. And Peyton, I've got some questions that came in earlier for you too, just in case we don't have any from the floor. So we want to open up the floor. Anything you want to know from Chef Peyton? While those are coming in, Peyton, I do have a question. How should we store the cooked banana bread, the fully cooled cooked banana bread? What do we do with it between today and tomorrow?
So what I have done is I would just take a Ziploc bag, cut your full loaf of banana bread, take a Ziploc bag. I would take a sheet of parchment paper, just a square sheet that can fit in your Ziploc bag. And I would do 2 layers depending on how big the bag is. And I would, or what do we do, gallon size? And we're just gonna parchment paper. I would do like 3 or 4 different pieces, another sheet of parchment paper to keep all that moisture in, and then another layer of banana bread. Zip it up, put it in the pantry, leave it on the counter, whatever you want to do. Just you want to keep that moisture in the or contained.
Good to know. That is not what I was going to do. So I'm glad that I asked. Are there any other kinds of breads that we can make using this recipe just by switching out something else other than bananas? Like, are you aware of how other fruits cook? You know, could we put something else in here? Not to put you on the spot.
That's a good question. I haven't done banana bread with this, but me, in the past, I've actually, for if anybody's like a big chocolate person, I've added a few chocolate chips into it with the nuts. Or put a few chocolate chips and nuts on top. That's pretty good as well. But other fruit, I have not done other fruit.
That's a good idea. You answered my next question. Any other optional ingredients? So chocolate chips would be good for a chocolate lover. I was thinking about making French toast out of this. Have you ever done that? Sliced it and made French toast? That sounds delicious to me.
I have not, but my mom loves French toast. So maybe she will shoot you a note and tell you if she tries it.
We have had French toast together, yes. Another question. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bypassing the chat and I'm asking all the pre-questions. Miss Coco asked, can we use the recipe for zucchini bread? And we've got some suggestions, pumpkin and grated apples to add to the recipe. Peyton, any thoughts on zucchini bread?
Zucchini bread is a great recipe, or I have like a great recipe that I have been wanting to try. Zucchini is a great option to substitute into different breads. What else is the other one? Or no, that's avocados, but I think zucchini you can do with chocolate a lot. But zucchini is a really good substitution. I have not tried it with this recipe. Like I said before, I have not tried anything else besides chocolate chips with this recipe. But if you ever try that, please let me know. And then you said pumpkin. Pumpkin, I have made pumpkin bread before. I have not tried it with this recipe. She said apple slices. That grated apples. I don't know about how they would.
Grated apples.
I don't know how those would bake and if they would be crunchy or soft, but I mean, if they like caramelize or however you want to say it in the oven, it might be really good.
Yeah, a couple more questions. Let me go back. Tamala, the recipe and the ingredients are already posted on the church website, so you can absolutely grab that. And Yvette wanted to know, Peyton, is the recipe different if she wanted to do muffins instead of the loaf?
No, not at all. The only difference I would probably say is to just adjust the time that you cook them, because it's probably not going to cook for an hour and 15 minutes. It probably might cook for 30, 45 minutes, maybe. And then obviously just put, if you used nuts, just put nuts on each individual one. And I would say maybe use cupcake liners instead, because you can't, it's going to be hard to use parchment. And I would not, this is just me because I hate cleaning cupcake pans. So I always, whatever it is, I always use cupcake liners, so then I can just pop them out, rinse it, or put a little bit of soap, and that's it. I don't have to scrub the cupcake pans.
Good tips. Two final questions, Peyton, for our last 4 minutes. One, what's something that you want to learn how to make that you haven't yet? And have you ever had a baking disaster?
Okay, I'm going to answer the baking disaster first. You were I would say, my first cake customer, and Miss Shanice has always supported me since then. My first cake was for her and her family. It was an absolute disaster. The frosting was not good at all. It literally melted all over. She ordered a vanilla cake with strawberry filling. I couldn't. Literally, like, I cried before I gave it to her. I was so upset that day. My dad was in the kitchen, like, trying to piece it back together. And I was like, oh no, like, I can't give this to her. But I ended up doing it anyways. Her family smashed the cake. It was gone within minutes. We were driving home and she had already sent a picture back saying that it was gone. So although it may have not looked good, it absolutely was delicious, she said.
It was absolutely delicious.
The second question was what? Oh, am I looking forward to making something soon? I guess something I haven't made that I want to try is, I have two things. One was a carrot cake, which I have not made. Just to add something to the list of stuff that I've made, that's something different. Carrot cake, I would say. And another thing was, I guess, fruity would be like a lemon cake with like raspberry filling. I don't know if you guys do fruit or not, but that was another thing I wanted to add.
Sounds yummy. Cool. Peyton, anything else you want to leave us with? You finished right on time. You've got 2 minutes. Close us out however you want.
I would just want to say thank you all for joining in Baking with Peyton. If you ever have questions, reach out to me. My information is on the screen. Tag us on Instagram. I am doing business right now through COVID. We are being super safe with everything. Just reach out to me through email, through text. Let me know if you just want something, or you have an idea, and see if I can do it. Just let me know, anything. But thank you is my biggest thing.
Thank you so much, Peyton. This was fantastic. All right, everybody, we're back on schedule. Get your microphones, get your whatever it is you need, get your little, what's a little voice box thing. Kendall Nesbitt's gonna bring us home in about 5 minutes.
Hey, Shanice, is Charles on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I wanted to test the screen sharing and audio
Perfect.
because
Hold
I
on.
tried it and it looks like I'm not enabled.
Okay. Now you are. Sorry, when you went out, it kicked you out as a co-host.
Okay, let me let's see here. Can y'all hear this?
Yep. And we see too.
Piano too. So you hear the piano and you hear my voice, right?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. What about? Hear that? Like drums?
We did at first.
What about now?
Now I do.
Okay,
Faintly.
Cool. Oh. All right. What about still hear my vocal, correct?
Yep. Well.
Okay, cool. All right. And you see a screen. It's blank now.
Absolutely. We see your recording screen.
All right.
So I think we're going to really learn something today. Thank you, sir.
We'll see. You're welcome. Yeah, we'll have some fun. Okay, so I'll stop share because we'll get into that in a bit.
Okay, we're doing our last session right now. This is the Songwriting Masterclass with Kendall Nesbitt. Kendall Nesbitt is a Grammy-nominated musician, singer, songwriter, and producer. He is also one of America's most sought-after musicians. Kendall's professional debut occurred at the age of 16 when he shared the stage with comedian actor Bernie Mac as his pianist. Kendall has assisted in completing over 50 gold and multi-platinum albums for some of the world's greatest artists, such as Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, Charlie Wilson, and Charles Jenkins and the Fellowship Chicago, to name a few. Lending his skills as a keyboardist, background vocalist, drum programmer, arranger, and vocal producer. Kendall has also worked on a number of movie soundtracks, including Ali, Shaft, and The Best Man Holiday. You can also hear his melodic sound on TV, radio advertisements, and Oprah Winfrey's own network. We're turning it over to you, Kendall. Thanks.
Hello, DuPage family. Hey, everybody. Oh, you guys are
Hey,
so
Kendall.
obedient. Everybody's on mute and everything. Okay, cool. Hi. Okay, so, this is interesting. This is what happens when you're on the committee and the leader says, hey, how about you do a songwriting class? And you can't really, resist because you're on the committee. It is, so it kind of worked out. And actually, this will be my first time doing it this way. So I'm kind of practicing on you guys. Usually we'll do that at the studio and the engineer's in charge of kind of the tech part. But moving forward, we don't know what's about to happen in the world. So I want to kind of be set up to do some things at home if needed. So this is the test run. Cool?
Cool.
All right. So I missed the other presenters. I know you guys did amazing. I'm going to go watch the recording. But yeah, so our church is amazing because we have the resources in-house for any and everything you need and the platform to kind of, sharpen your craft. So this is an amazing thing, and I'm going to jump into it. 40 minutes will be interesting to do a songwriting masterclass, but we're going to try to get to everything. We're going to do a little Q&A. We're going to do I'll make some statements, and then I think the fun part will be sort of a demonstration to just kind of see how it comes together from start to finish. So hopefully we can kind of put that into 40 minutes. Okay? See what happens. All right. So first thing, when it comes to songwriting, for me, songwriting starts with it's life. It's your emotions. What you feel, what you think, whether that's relationship, whether it's, issues in the world, whether it's, your relationship with God, your relationship with others, right from a place where it's sincere, it's heartfelt, and you feel it. So before you even try to put it out into the marketplace, even if it's a hobby, songwriting 101 is right from a real place, whether that's musically or lyrically, just right from a real place, a place where you can deeply feel the emotion of what you're trying to convey. The next thing, of course, music is a universal language. Everybody identifies with it, even if you don't speak the same language. It's something about music that sort of touches the heart and touches everyone's emotions at the same time. It can inspire, it can heal. It can also promote foolishness, depending on what the lyrical content is and what the instrumentation is. So music is a very powerful source. It is all deeply, deeply, deeply spiritual. So my process typically starts with like the track. because I'm a musician first. So I try to kind of get a track going and then vibe out with, you know, what my lyrical content will be or what my melody will be. So say for instance, like, and this will be kind of like a freestyle portion. So we got Deitra. I don't know if Larry's still on the line, and so Peyton. So let's see. And Deitra, she loves to kind of sing and be involved. So who knows? She may chime in. I don't know. Just let's see if you feel it. Okay. So we got Rise and Thrive, right? So we have let's say, you know, can you guys hear the piano? Thumbs up. Do you hear? Okay. Well, let me share my audio. 1 second, because I stopped the share. We're gonna share audio right now. Okay. All right. What about now?
Yeah, we can hear it now.
Okay. So I'll play some chords, mess around, see what happens. Larry started us off working out our bodies, and then we moved on to Deitra, getting our resumes together. Then we moved on to Peyton, baking us some goods. I hope I have the opportunity to see how it tastes and if it tastes good. Now, it can be lame, it's like jingle, but you got to figure it out as you vibe, you know, you get it together. And I'm bending around the corner, trying to write a song. We'll see what happens later on, and then we'll be gone to the next phase of a day. Hope we'll have some fun, inspire everyone, get our work done. Kind of lame, but it'll get greater later once we get drums going. So that's like, you know, you have to be open to experiment, laugh at yourself, figure it out, and keep the process going. So a lot of times I probably wear my dear wife out because I am playing tracks or music constantly. Same song over and over, assessing it. Is this right? Is this right? Is the mix right? Are the lyrics right? Are the vocals right? Because when you put it out into the marketplace, you know, it has to be buttoned up and tight because a lot of times that music will live on way after you. So you just want to make sure everything is right. So let's see, we're going to try I want to see if you guys can, what do you say, name that tune? She was my best friend, stuck with me through thick and thin, sisters to the very end. I can't believe it, you might know it like this. This is Mr. Biggs. How you doing, Mr. Biggs? What the heck is going on? What you mean is going on? Kelly's telling me that you're sleeping with another woman just because she thinks okay, so anyway, we're in church. I got some gospel tunes I did too. So I actually did the music to that tune. Yeah, so that was one of my first placements or records that actually came out into the marketplace, and it was really exciting. I was in the studio when I heard Ron Isley and Kelly Price and R. Kelly on my music. It was like, whoa, it was crazy. And I was about 17 or 18 at the time. So anyway, let's see if we have another one. Oh, we got some participation. Cool. Okay. All right. Happy people. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Keep the world dancing, dancing, dancing. Happy people, yeah, yeah, yeah. Keeps us all moving, moving, moving. You know that one? Kind of, sort of. No, I know you're in church, but I know, you know some other things. Okay, let's see if you know this one. I am a mountain, I am a tall tree, oh, I am a swift wind, sweeping the country. I'll go to the hook. If anybody asks you who I am, just stand up tall, look them in the face and say, I'm that star up in the sky, I'm that mountain peak up high. Hey, you made it, I'm the world's greatest. I'm that little bit of hope when my back's against the rope. I can feel it. I'm the world's greatest. You know that one? Okay, it's a really big tune. It's done graduations all over. It's another one I worked on and helped co-write musically. I got a chance to meet Muhammad Ali. We performed with him at the ESPN Awards. We did the video, the big world's greatest video, the whole thing. It was an amazing experience. There's another one that I'm not accredited for. I don't know what happened, but we sent all of the information in. And it was, at the time, it was really heartbreaking. You know, our attorneys and their attorneys were kind of going back and forth. And then this artist, he ended up passing away. So it got really difficult to figure out, you know, what was going on logistically. There were some other suits out. So it kind of got lost in translation. They never did a reprint of it. But I got the chance to work on a song for Michael Jackson. And that song is One More Chance at Love. 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 That's the hook. One more chance at love. One more chance at love. One more chance at love. And it's on his Number Ones album. And it was actually a single because the Number Ones album ended up selling like crazy numbers when he transitioned because it's all of his hits. And this was the only new release on that record. So it did pretty well, and thanks be to God, we worked it out. So anyway, getting back to some of the information, songwriting is 50-50 typically. So you have 50% lyrics and melody, and then 50% would be music. So it's split up into a 50-50 split, and basically you, like, say for instance, if the four of us were to write a song, Deitra, myself, you know, Peyton, Larry, yeah, we would have to figure out, depending on who contributed to the song, lyrically, melody-wise, musically, how to split that pie up and who gets what and who gets paid in terms of residuals and royalties and that whole thing. Again, right life, repetition is always key. So the key the song is in, the chords, the melody, recognizable. Most listeners can identify and sing along, kind of a simple melody that's catchy. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, you know, something. Those are the recipes for hit songs. You want to make it where the listener kind of knows where it's going. I wrote a song, I can't say I wrote it, but we were just kind of playing around in the house, kids were young. And I wrote this song called I Think I Need to Take a Bath. Doon, doon, doon. I think I need to take a bath. I think I need to take a bath. I need to take a bath. I know 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 I need to take a bath, take a bath, take a bath. And then they start singing the song, and they knew what time it was because of the song. It kind of identified, it got them excited about the process of taking a bath. You know, when kids are kids, that's not the most exciting process for them. But then it became exciting, and it became an experience. So, yeah, so, you know, those types of things just kind of continue to write and flow and write life. A hit song is all about arrangements. Everyone unanimously can feel it. When you look around and you see the head nods, what we call frown faces, tears, hands up, deep thought, thinking, absorbing, you know you might have something there because now you're kind of tugging on some of the emotional parts and they're feeling it, what we call kind of goosebumps. Sound and balance is huge. We deal with that, and that's even kind of what we're working on as far as church now that we're streaming. Sonically, how does it sound? How does it feel? What sounds are you using? What drums work, what drums don't work, what bass line. So it's really a research and kind of a scientific process when it comes to recipe. For my personal view, content is very important. I don't really write anymore. Now, a lot of times, there are some times where music will go out and it'll go to an artist and I'm not sure what happens with the music. But me personally, if I write or I produce it, I try to write and produce from a place of sincerity, honesty, integrity, where it's not promoting violence or drugs or you know, any type of lewd behavior that would you know, promote anything negative. So I take a cue from like Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Kirk Franklin, you name it. There's so many artists to name, just to kind of keep it pure and real to where you are. Because again, if it's not real, your market won't necessarily feel it because you're not coming from a real place. Learn some type of software, and I'm speeding through it, what we call a DAW, a digital audio workstation. They have a bunch out. If you have an iPhone, you probably have GarageBand on it. It's a little app with a guitar picture on there. Learn software, whether it's GarageBand, Logic, Pro Tools. Even if you just want to do it as a hobby, some folks, I remember my grandma, she passed away at 85, at about 82 or 83, she called me and she's like, King, I want to play keyboards. And she had always, referred to it. But she's like, I really want to play. Do you have a keyboard you can give me? And I said, well, I don't have, my keyboards are like professional grade, or, you need a speaker and an amp and all of that kind of stuff. I say, well, I can buy you one if you want to play. She said, yeah, I just need a little portable keyboard. So bought her a little Yamaha with the speakers built in. And she got so much joy out of playing her little songs, and I would come over and we would play around and write, and she would write stuff. King, listen to what I came up with. And it was just so, even as a hobby, you can, it can just inspire you and uplift you. And as long as you're exercising creativity and learning new things, it's one of the greatest hobbies to me to get into, and it's just being blessed to actually be able to do it and as a profession. So, but yeah, there are plenty of softwares out there. You can Google them, or you can ask me, or put it in the chat if you just kind of even want to mess around. So nowadays, you don't necessarily have to be musically versed in theory. You can pull samples together. You can pull certain sounds together. They already have pre-recorded beats or chords and melodies, and just start to kind of mess around and see what you create. And I promise to create something is always great. I mean, whether that's cooking, whether that's sewing, whether it's painting, you name it, it just does something to our psyche and our spirit, kind of to be in creative mode. So, know your audience, be true to yourself. Those are some of the things we kind of, break down. Songwriting is, again, life writing. So write life, write experiences, etc. And now we're going to get into, let's see how much time we got, about 15 minutes. So we're going to create something and see what happens, all right? So I see somebody's trying to look in their iPhone and pull up GarageBand or something. Like, wait a minute, do I have it on me? No, I don't know. Okay, so you guys can hear this, correct? You hear piano? Okay. All right, let's go to share. Okay. All right. So you see a gray screen? Everybody sees it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is typically my process. We'll start with drums. Let's see. We got a BPM here of 92 beats per minute is what BPM stands for. And we'll just go with let's see. We'll try a little something. So we'll go with like an 8-bar loop. Make sure that's quantized over in the corner, which is keeping you on tempo. The computer never lies. So it always keeps us on so that everything is locked and synced once we begin to add on. So we'll add some hi-hats. Okay, we'll quantize that. And usually I'll separate it, but just due to the course of time, because you want to mix each sound precisely and put EQs and effects on it. So we'll do some hi-hat. We'll do some fills. Okay, and that's what we call an 8-bar loop. A lot of times it starts with the loop, you keep it simple, and then you build from that loop just to get your ideas going. put some pretty chimes in there. So everybody's hearing? Okay. Okay. Okay, and then we'll just build it up. It's kind of like you have your own band in the box. Is that bass really poundy? Is it too loud? Is it like wearing your ears out? Is it fine? Okay. And this is all freestyle. We'll see what happens. Let's go. Okay, so it's what we call catching the vibe. You kind of go with whatever you're kind of feeling at the moment and see what happens. You build it up from there. Let's see. Okay, play it back, see what's happening. Okay, and I like to stack sounds, so now we have a Rhodes, just to kind of thicken it up and make it feel good, make it funky. And I like to make it funky. It's people, that's kind of my nickname in the industry. They say, you always like to jazz it up and funk it up, put a little something on it. So let's see, we got a little. So let's see what happens. Okay, and then we fill it up a little bit. Okay, so now that we have a basis, and sometimes when you do Zoom and music programs, it can get kind of funky. Can everybody hear that, right? You hear it a little better? Yeah. All right, so now we have something. Let's go to an audio track and see if we can record. Wow, can you hear that? You can't hear that? Something just happened? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Can you hear me now? You hear me now? Okay. So now, because I'm using the same microphone, I'm going to record a vocal, And then once the vocal is recorded, I can go back to this microphone because it won't allow both to happen at the same time. So 1 second, I'll record a vocal just to see here. Rise and thrive. We're gonna rise and thrive. We're gonna rise and thrive. We're gonna rise and thrive. We're gonna, hey, hey, hey. Okay. Let's see if you hear this vocal. You hear that vocal? So sometimes I'll go in and kind of mess with some EQ and delays if you see that. So put some reverb on it just to mess around. Keep hoping, wishing, and keep on going, and we'll keep moving, and we'll keep moving. And I'm putting, let's try delay. I just mess around and see. We'll keep moving. We'll keep moving. We'll keep moving. We'll keep going. We'll keep moving. So we'll bypass that. So we'll mess around with that. Zoom kind of gets funky when you try to do some of these effects because technically you're not supposed to run too many programs at the same time when you're doing stuff like this. So that's a way we kind of build up a song, and you go with the harmonies, you figure out certain melodies, verses, and kind of build it up from there. So if there are any questions, you can let them rip right now. I think we have about 4 or 5 minutes.
You got 13 minutes. Don't cheat us.
Oh, is it I thought it was 11:55. Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. All right. Well, we'll go back into building it up. Oh. And we'll add another layer to it. Hey.
You just let me know when you want me to jump in there, okay?
Well, listen.
He been invited you a long time ago, Deitra.
I know.
You know I'm your backup singer. You know that.
Yeah. We'll keep moving. We'll keep growing. So we'll add something. Well, this is your background part. You got to catch it, okay? Deitra, you ready?
Okay. Okay.
We'll keep moving. We'll keep going. We'll keep reaching. We'll keep going.
Okay.
Okay, you catch that?
I did.
So we'll keep moving. In the betweens, we'll keep going.
Going, moving, going.
Right. We'll keep moving. We'll keep going. So in between, rise and thrive, we'll keep moving.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Rise and thrive, we'll keep going. Rise and thrive, we'll keep moving. Okay, so you got it. We'll see what happens. Zoom is gonna get tricky. I don't know if you'll be on beat, but we get the idea.
Okay.
Because it's kind of it's doing some stuff. It's not liking Logic and Zoom working together, so there's still some kinks they need to work out with that. And like I said, it's my first time doing it. So
if it goes wrong, it's not my fault. You just made that clear.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, we put it out there. It's the system. That's what we're gonna say. All right. So let's see. You got it, or you need another run? Well, you got it.
Okay, one more run.
Rise and thrive, we'll keep moving. Background, rise and thrive, we'll keep going. So actually, you'll be lead. Rise and thrive, we'll keep moving. Rise and thrive, we'll keep going.
So I say the rise and thrive part, and you say the other part?
No, you on lead now, girl. This is your moment. You say you're encouraging the people. We'll keep moving. We'll keep going.
That's right. We're gonna move. We're gonna groove. We're gonna keep going. Let's go.
And you can make it up, really. I mean, that's
okay.
Fine too. Whatever's in your spirit. So let's see what happens. Now it'll be a little off because again, there's a delay. There's
okay.
Latency, but we'll see what happens. You ready?
Okay. Yeah. Rising.
We'll keep going.
When do I start?
So you have a reference point. We'll keep reaching. We'll keep going. We'll keep moving. So can you hear my reference?
I can, but I don't know when to start.
Okay, so rise and thrive, we'll keep moving.
So when the music comes on, I just start.
No, you're gonna hear rise and thrive first. So it's gonna be a little setup. Yeah. And then once you hear rise and thrive, we'll keep moving. Boom. It's like a call and response, answer, So let's see what happens. Yeah, Deitra. Okay, cool. And it's a loop, so it'll keep happening.
It's sketchy, I can't hear it.
We'll keep going. We'll keep moving. Tiff, can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay, can you help her out a little bit? That's our other.
It's sketchy over here. Scratch or
it's the system. Okay.
Okay, you turned up a little bit. Come on, Patty.
Yeah.
It's my volume's up all the way.
The verses, Lord. And I'm up too. I'm like banging out in here, so I don't know. And I've got I did the advanced settings, and I got the audio going up to output. So let's try it again.
Okay. We'll keep moving. We'll keep moving.
Yeah. We'll keep going.
We'll keep going.
We'll keep going.
We'll keep moving.
Oh, we'll keep going. Oh, we'll keep
moving.
Oh, we'll keep going.
There's a delay.
Yeah, it's a delay on my side. That's why it's breaking up. So it's going in and out is what I hear over here.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is. We had big dreams. We were trying to get it. You know, this system. We're learning this whole thing. That sounds good, though. I heard you. I'll have the track so in rehearsal.
Me. You know, I'm always ready.
I know that. Now that I know. That is for sure. I know that. This is something that, like I said, I think this is amazing. And there's so many layers to really digging into songwriting and production. And if you're interested, you know, leave comments in the chat, or, you know, you can see me off site. I have actually produced, have been called on, you know, to provide some services. So if it's something you're interested in, by all means, reach out. You know, we'll work it out. So now I definitely want to allow questions, if any.
So I have a question. Do you actually teach singing lessons?
I do. I'm starting to a little more, just because you have a little more time. Everybody's in. So yeah, I do.
Because I have this thing, I think really that in my second life, I was a singer. I was a performer. And I really want to, I'm being serious, Tiffany, stop laughing. I see you. You know I see you. I believe that I should be a performer. I just love to sing. So I think I'm going to reach out. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And you might have been, quite honestly. That's a real thing. You have the diva thing on you for sure. So
Don't be facetious. I hear you.
That's a good thing. I'm not. No, I know. That's a good. Yes.
This is Enzafe. Good morning, everybody. DuPage Nation, y'all awesome. I'm telling you. I want to know, can you write the lyrics before the music?
I can, and I have. I've done it both ways. Like what I'm noticing on my process is mostly been music first. That kind of inspires what the song will be, or the sound. But yeah, you can absolutely write the. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Kendall, we have a question in the chat. Marion Banks, she wants to know how long would it take to learn the software?
So the software is pretty easy. I actually did a Ableton Live course, and we were able to teach in about 4 days, like an hour a day. So the goal is they make all softwares pretty easy, user-friendly, at least to get the basics done. Now, you know, as you try to expand in it, of course, you learn more and more. But just to get kind of a basic idea out, it's pretty easy. It's not that hard. Any other questions?
Kendall, I have a few questions that were asked beforehand. The first one is, what is a good age to get started in the music industry?
I think the younger, the better. Because of course, when you're younger, your mind is sharp, it's on point. And so I would, yeah, you're a sponge. I would say, you know, I've known folks as young as 2 or 3. I started singing and in the choir and playing in the whole nine. So as young as possible. Of course, get the basics out of the way. I have certain opinions about child stars because that can get tricky. So, you know, you want to be old enough to kind of handle the rigor of the industry, but the younger the better to start kind of practicing and getting sharp at it.
Okay, we have another question in from the chat. If you're offering classes, how do we find out about them?
So you can go to, I haven't launched it live yet because again, it was a schedule thing and I tried to do that before and things come up, especially in my world. You could be a session and it could be this, could be that. And I just didn't want to overload myself. Church stuff, as you know. So I would say, you know, you can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, all of that is Kendall Nesbitt. And we can kind of set up a private one-on-one schedule before I, offer it to the masses, because that can get sort of crazy. And I don't want to put something out there that I can't meet the demand.
Okay, Kendall, another question. What market do you enjoy working with more, the secular or gospel?
It all started from gospel, so I enjoy both. For whatever reason, I think I enjoy gospel more because it's what I would consider a more aggressive genre. You can do, you got jazz, pop, funk, blues, you name it. It comes out. It starts. Every great artist from Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, all started out of the church. And most secular artists get church musicians, singers, producers, writers. So it's all sort of hand in hand. But I'm a church boy at my core, so it all starts with the church sound, or what some would call that anointing, or that church gifting. So I'd say gospel I enjoy probably the most, and then R&B and soul and hip hop and jazz and the whole nine.
Do you have a specific singer that you would like to work with, that you have in mind or thought of?
That I would like to work with. Good question. I think I'd say definitely Stevie Wonder. That's like my musical father almost. My birthday is May 14th, 1980. His birthday is May 13th, 1950. So it's like I think there was some, I don't know, under the Taurus, whatever, there was some kind of connection. So Stevie is like my absolute favorite. Would love to work with him. And we did a song for him, actually. He just didn't accept it. I think it was one of those things. He was like, yeah, trying to write a song for me. So R. Kelly and I wrote and produced a song for him. Some things never change. Like seasons live pain and flowers bloom in May. Long as I am breathing. So we submitted it, but he never accepted it. Because I think his thing was like, I'm Stevie Wonder. I don't know. I can't speak. I'm like one of the greatest writers of all time. I don't need y'all trying to write stuff for me. So, but who knows? In the future, it may happen.
So I have a question. How do you feel about, because obviously you're an artist, how do you feel about superstar artists when you've written a song for them, and then because they may have changed up one or two words, they will insist on equal credits as if they wrote it like you wrote it? How do you navigate that? Well, how do you feel about it? And how do you navigate it?
That's my sister, Dana.
Dana, that is a great question. And actually, it has happened to me on a case. Well, here's the thing with the industry. They're encouraged to own whatever they put out. So like even when I've done music for Oprah Winfrey and Own Network, and one of the stipulations was, hey, you're doing the music for me, but I own it. And that's how they become successful. It's their, they pay for it up front, or you may get a percentage or a royalty, but that's kind of how they set it up in the industry. And it's just up to you to either negotiate differently. Sometimes you have to accept it. Like at a point I had to pay my dues, and I had to accept some of those terms until I kind of got a little older in the industry. And then some is like, okay, no, we have to get this right, or else I can't work on it. So it just depends, but it happens. And I'm fortunate I'm at a place now where I'm getting my worth. I own my publishing, I have my masters. And when I negotiate my percentages, I get, as a matter of fact, one of the contracts I just negotiated, my lawyer was kind of impressed because I negotiated it before I sent it to him. And he's like, wow, you got 25% of the net receipts. And he's like, usually that doesn't happen, but I negotiated that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Kendall, one more question that we had. Do you have to play an instrument to get into the music industry?
Not at all. Some of your, best producers, if you, mostly kind of on the hip hop side of it. If you, think of a Timbaland or a Swizz Beats or even Dr. Dre, they don't play instruments, but they're good with putting samples together and beats and sounds and various things. And they're just as, in my opinion, musical and hot, and so no, you don't necessarily, especially now with all all of the software and the programs, you don't have to know how to play an instrument.
I do have one more question. I'm sorry. So music is regionalized as well. So you have a Kanye from Chicago, you have people from New York, and they have a tendency to help each other out. Do you find that lacking from the Chicagoland area versus like the Houston people will be with you understand what I'm saying, in Houston, and they all rally for each other. I don't feel like we see that as much from the Chicago area versus other areas who will support each other. Oakland people with the Oaklands. Does that make sense, the question I'm asking?
Absolutely. You must be an industry insider. You must be. You must. No. Well, that is real. It's a conversation we've had, and I know we're recording this, but this is nothing. I mean, this is all public record. I've had talks personally with camps, Puffy's camp, Swiss Beats camp, down in Atlanta. I got friends there in LA, and that is something that is recognized nationwide. That Chicago kind of has a, I don't know, it's kind of the city of big shoulders, I, me syndrome, every man for himself. I'm not going to put you on. And I don't really come from that. I don't know what that's about. I have a lot of friends that are now professionals in the industry, and I guess in terms, put them on and brought them in, gave them opportunities, and they're now just as successful. So I don't know where that came from. Maybe that's a Chicago mentality, is gangster, Al Capone, cutthroat. I don't know what that is, but that is a real thing in Chicago, which is somewhat why some folks move out of Chicago, because it's that thing. You're more received, when you go out versus in your own home. So yeah, that is a real thing.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome.
Oh, have your autograph?
But see, this is a joke. She's not playing, right? She is not. This girl, oh my goodness. That's our joke. She always asks for my autograph, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, get out of here. Cut it out. What are you doing? She's like, I'm serious. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. You my wife. Like, get out of here. Well, thank you. This is actually still kind of weird to me. I've been in the industry for, I don't know, 22, 23 years. So this whole, I don't know, Grammy nominated producer, work with these people. It's still, I don't know that it even really registers to me that way. It's like you work and you don't really think about it like that. So it's still kind of like what? This is real. I thank God for it. It's a blessing, but it's still kind of like, wow.
So does the Grammys or the different accolades and awards help move the needle and move you forward with getting more work? Because you hear it both ways, where sometimes it doesn't do anything. You just have that hit or that moment for the moment, and you still don't progress and become as successful as you think you should be or want to be.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. And there may be a few factors to that. I don't know if it may be the individual's work ethic. It may be politics. Maybe they didn't, they don't get along with certain people. It may be, I mean, there can be a few factors. But yeah, so it kind of goes both ways. Again, I thank God that you have to be careful, because it's really not about, you have to do it. It's like, I was working with this publicist at a time, and I did it because she was like, and it helps. It helps your negotiating power. It helps, your advance money or whatever the case may be. But it is a tricky thing, because I know people that have Grammy awards that are, not, I mean, they're not necessarily doing that well either. So it's kind of tricky. And I know folks that have Grammy awards, probably about 10 Grammys officially. And he's still, he's a pastor of a church now. He serves at church. He served at a church, Faithful Central. And we were in LA, and I went to the church, and he was on the organ, and I was like, wow, this is Warren Campbell on the organ. And it's a known thing kind of in the industry, where musicians, producers, songwriters, you still work with the church, work for a church, or you still do local, because the music industry is fickle. I was talking to an actor friend of mine. He's like, he's a successful actor, but he's essentially unemployed until his next big thing. So depending on, what you do with your money and how you need to do some other stuff. So he does some voiceover stuff. He does writing. He does, he's not just waiting on a acting gig to, sustain his lifestyle. So yeah, it can be tricky.
And so lastly, you would say your work ethic would trump everything, correct? I mean, you have to be talented, of course, but work ethic would trump anything at any point.
Work ethic, yeah. This is a very strenuous business. There are deadlines. People call you and like, I want a hit record, and we, a lot of times we don't know. We go in and we're just trying to go off of what comes to us, what God may place on your heart. And that's a tough demand when somebody comes in your studio and say, hey, I want you to write me a hit record, write me a hit song, produce this, put this together. And I've found, there's some folks that can't necessarily meet the demand of what that is. A lot of long studio hours. I mean, my wife can tell you, I take naps. I don't know that I mean, it's been a while since sleeping like a full, and I'm trying to get better with that now that we're in quarantine or shelter in place. But you can you can have a gig over here, a session over there, a thing over here, fly to town over here. I mean, it's a very rigorous schedule to keep. And that's, everybody's not, I guess, not cut out for that demand.
Well, we're so thankful, Kendall, that you found time in your day to share your talent, your gift, and quite frankly, your team with us. That was amazing. It exceeded our expectations. We can all say we were here when.
Oh,
so everyone, we pray that, oh, sorry, go ahead, Kendall, I'm sorry.
No, I just said thank you, that's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for spending the top part of your Saturday with us. We pray that it has been our collective prayer that you will receive that which you have been seeking God after. We pray that the rest of your day is blessed. We hope that we got you started off on the right foot. Join us next Saturday, September 26th, same time, same place, for Rise and Thrive Week 2. We'll be blessed by 4 members of the Harris family, Kevin, Etiennette, Morgan, and Caleb. They'll share some gems with us about their ongoing college experience. And we've got 2 experts with mental health relative to our youth. They'll have the opportunity to break out according to their ages and get some resources, some information, and some support in a safe environment. Thank you so much. We pray that you feel ready to go out and thrive. God bless you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles
Bye.
Baker. It was flawless.
Thank you, guys. Awesome.
Thank you guys so much. Have a blessed weekend.
You too.